I, 27M, have been engaged to my fiancée Amy, 26F, for a year and have been in a relationship with her for 5 years. We were due to be married this August. Now, I am also friends with Kylie, 26F. We have been friends for a very long time, pretty much since we were babies, and we're almost like siblings at this point because her mother and my mother were best friends since they were in high school. Anyway, Kylie is part of the same tight-knit friend group as Amy. I always try to ask Kylie what Amy says about me because I know women like to discuss their boyfriends with their friend groups. Kylie is usually tight-lipped, but if she does say anything, she always says how much Amy loves me and how excited she is about marriage. Last month, I hung out with Kylie and her boyfriend at their house. Amy and I usually hang out with them for dinners, but Amy had gone out of town for a couple of days. Anyways, we all got pretty drunk and laughed a lot, and I was begging Kylie to tell me one bad thing Amy has told her friends about me. After a lot of pleading, Kylie finally said that one thing Amy had joked about was how she had better sex before, and I was not the greatest at sex, but that she was with me for the complete package because she doesn't care about sex too much. I was drunk then, so I just laughed it off, but I felt somewhat stung then. The next day, when I got sober, I felt extremely stung. I thought about it a lot, and when Amy came back from her vacation, I asked her about it casually. She initially denied it and said we always have amazing sex, and she's always satisfied. I told her it really wouldn't hurt me if she told me the truth, and marriage was built on honesty, so I asked her again a couple of times. Amy finally admitted that she did in fact say that I was not the best at sex to her friend group, but she was just joking about it because I had so many other great qualities she wanted to highlight. I laughed it off initially, but that stung me even more. I couldn't hide my mood for the next couple of days. I felt sad and like shit. Amy apologized a lot and said she did not mean what she said. A couple of days later, I told Amy I could no longer be with her, and what she told her friend group hurt me too much. I informed everyone over the next week that I was calling off the wedding. Amy was distraught, tried to convince me multiple times, and apologized a lot. But I was too mentally downtrodden. Ada? Update. I understand I am insecure. I am not hiding the fact that I'm insecure. I just wish my fiancée did not tell her friends about my sexual life, especially Kylie. If Amy had only told me and not her friends, I would have definitely still felt hurt, but at least this would have only been between us. I definitely wouldn't break up with her either, and I would have even tried to improve our sexual life. I always asked Kylie what Amy thought about me because, yes, I was insecure and I wanted to fix any of my flaws before marriage. But I never expected that it would be about my sexual life. I thought maybe it was a character flaw, maybe I wasn't romantic enough or not taking her out on enough dates or something along those lines. But never about my sex life. I felt even more hurt after hearing that Amy said I wasn't great at sex, because Amy never gave me any indication of that in 5 years. But now I'm too ashamed to face her friends, especially Kylie. Kylie has reached out to me many times, but I'm too embarrassed to even text her now. I understand how my actions have had a lot of unintended cascading effects. I know Amy is hurting really bad now because she was really excited about our marriage and future. My family is hurting really bad, and her family is hurting too. Kylie and Amy are no longer on speaking terms. I heard from one of my friends that Kylie broke up with her boyfriend, but I'm not sure if that's related to this incident. I already asked my company for a transfer to a different state, and I'm going to be moving to a different state in 2 months. I have lost not only my fiancé but also my best friend, whom I've known my entire life. Yes, I am not in the best of places now mentally, but I will try to start fresh in 2 months.
My husband pranked me with a fake breakup. I canceled our family trip because of it. My husband, 34M, and I, 32F, had been together for 6 years and married for 3. This past weekend, we were enjoying a quiet night and when my husband suddenly got really serious. He looked me in the eyes and told me, "I want a divorce." My heart sank instantly, and I was completely blindsided. He's never mentioned any issues with our marriage before, and I thought we were doing well. I started crying and asking him why, but he just kept a straight face and said, "I'm sorry, it's over." I was heartbroken, and he let me sit there in disbelief for a few moments before suddenly breaking into laughter. "Just kidding," he said. "It was just a prank." I felt a mix of shock, anger, and betrayal. This is a man I trust completely, and he just told me he wanted a divorce as a joke. He knows how anxious I get about the idea of losing him, and he still thought this was an appropriate prank? I decided to cancel our upcoming trip to his family's cabin as a consequence for his actions. This trip was planned for next weekend, and I felt it was important for him to understand the weight of what he did. He called me overdramatic and said I was punishing him for a joke. We've been arguing ever since, and now I'm wondering if I might have overreacted. Ida for canceling his trip.
I found out about my girlfriend's shameful past. Ida for dumping her? I, 40M, have been going out with my GF, 32F, since last August. We have a great relationship generally. I would say the only weak patch in our relationship is sex. Not necessarily frequency, but quality. I would describe her as very vanilla and I'm quite kinky. Like only 1 or 2 positions and it took her ages to get naked with me, doesn't like oral, conveniently accepts it though. But the relationship is great in a lot of ways, so I've turned a blind eye. Asking her about it, she said she had a lot of partners before we got together, and when COVID happened, she found herself on her own, so she worked on herself and discovered herself. She never said how many guys she's been with, but I assumed it's more than me. Which isn't hard, as I've only been with less than 10 women in my life. She said before me, she hasn't had sex in about 2 years. We've been getting serious lately, and by chance I introduced her to my foster bro, 31M. I've known him for over 20 years, so I love him like a true sibling. Everything seemed okay in the meeting, but afterwards he messaged me asking to talk. He said he realized he knows where he knows her from. Basically, he said he realizes she was this girl that was that notorious and who, when he and his mates went out, she was a real slag. Basically, she was into everything and anything, threesomes, spit roasts, gang bangs, everything. She even did an amateur corn apparently. He protests he never fucked her, but knows loads of his mates who did. He said the rule of thumb, if she was out, you knew you'd be lucky apparently. I couldn't get it out my mind, so asked her about what he said. She basically admitted it, saying yep, she was that person. She apologized for keeping it from me, but said she was ashamed of it and that she isn't that person anymore. Since then, I feel really weird about her. I feel basically she's a hypocrite. She doesn't do certain acts or positions yet did in the past. She once had a go at me for watching porn yet did it herself in the past. In terms of her number, it seems like she's well in triple digits. I've been trying to process it, but a couple of days ago she tried to have sex and tried to do things she's never wanted to do, basically acted all slutty. I told her to stop and it feels weird, and she got all defensive and said, isn't it what I want? I don't know why, it just feels not. I can't explain it, but I feel like something is broken between us. I love her, but I can't look at her the same way again. Would I be the a-hole for breaking up with her over her past?
I named my son after my late friend's son, and everyone is just so pissed at me. I cross-posted because I really don't understand where I went wrong. Throwaway account for anonymity. I just had a baby a month ago. My husband's best friend and his family used to be really close, but after they lost their teenage son in a tragic accident, they've been more standoffish with everyone because they're grieving. When I found out I was pregnant, I thought that might be the perfect way to get them to socialize more. So I asked his wife, we'll call her Emma, to throw us a gender reveal party. She politely said no. I say this with quotations because I think refusing even politely was rude. She knows we don't have a lot of friends. So I tried again with the baby shower. She again refused, and I had a hormonal moment where I lost it a little and wanted to know why she wasn't excited about my baby. She said it was because, between work, her other kids, and grieving, she had no energy and was exhausted all the time. I suggested she see a therapist. It turns out that the whole family is in therapy because they are all struggling. Okay, I understand. My husband got mad at me for being combative and persistent, so I stopped asking her to help with things. When I had my sweet baby boy, I decided the perfect way to honor their son was to name ours after him. My husband was hesitant, but he knew all of Emma and her husband's kids since they were born, so he agreed but wanted to ask them first. I insisted we keep it a surprise. Since I just gave birth, he didn't argue with me. We had everyone over to meet the baby, and when everyone arrived, I handed the baby to Emma to hold first. She was teary-eyed, which I thought was so sweet, and I knew my son would have close ties with them. So then, while she held him, I said, now you can hold Timothy in your arms again. She looked shocked and, to my great offense, horrified. She handed him back, said quickly that he was a beautiful baby, and the whole family left. Now my husband is furious with how I announced our son's name. The meet the baby party was ruined because, other than my family, everyone else was quiet and left early. Was I wrong for wanting them to become close and have some enthusiasm for my baby? My husband and his family are very upset with me, but my family agrees they need to stop being self-centered and start caring about people they call friends. Ida?